All right, so we're here on the 3rd of February 2024 to talk about governance proposals in Fund 11. And we're each going to take a minute to give a little quick overview of one of our proposals and to kind of talk about what governance issues it addresses and, if we like, why we chose to address those. We're not going to be too prescriptive about what you say. You've only got a minute anyway, so yeah, just tell us about what you think your proposal tells us about the state of governance proposing in Fund 11. Right, so first off, I'm going to hand over to Edit. Your time starts now.
Um, Hello everyone. Good evening. All right, so nice to be here. Basically, my proposal is all about researching zero knowledge proofs in blockchain ecosystems for enhanced voting transparency in the Catalyst voting process. So basically, we're looking at a potential application here, and the solution for us is that we're proposing leveraging ZKPs in blockchain ecosystems in order to enhance the voting transparency for Cardano Catalyst. And we all know that ZKPs are more or less cryptographic techniques that allows us to be able to demonstrate the validity of a statement without revealing the underlying information. So we're going to be doing a lot of preliminary research into other ecosystems. The idea is to ensure that the Cardano Catalyst community is able to have enhanced voter privacy, improve voting security, the transparency in the voting process, as well as ensuring that we are able to secure the voter identity verification process. So yeah, that's basically what we are focused on in order to solve this governance problem in Cardano ecosystem. So I'll stop there for now. I think we were just having like 1 minute for
That's
us
right.
to talk
Yeah,
about what we do.
nice
Awesome.
one. Thank you very much for that. All right, if you can put your hand down, Edit, so we know that you've gone, and I'll just keep going in the order that people are on my screen. So next up, it would be Stephen, followed by Johan. So over to you, Stephen.
Okay, I'll get started. It's kind of like freestyle because I haven't done any preparation for this. But yeah, my proposal is called Skin in the Game and Agency Theory. And it is a kind of proposal to do some research, community source research, as an alternative to what the Edinburgh Decentralised Index folks are doing. Looking particularly at something called Agency Theory Dimension, which is an approach that has been a new academic approach, which is to look into the difference between principals and agents in a blockchain environment, like who acts as an agent and who acts as a principal, and then to use that as a research approach to determine the extent to which blockchain solutions are decentralized, given who acts as an agent again and who acts as a principal. And I think that's my minute.
Cool. All right, thanks. If you can stick your hand down, and I'll go to Johan.
So I just want to start with, well, what is the core feature of a tokenized ecosystem? Like, everyone knows about tokens, but the core feature is that you can actually get people to do stuff through the incentive of earning tokens. That's it. So we kind of want to move past this whole idea of tokens just as a base cryptocurrency or an NFT. So these are some of the fields that, are part of what token engineering is. And I guess today we're focusing on governance. And I guess, why do we need it? Well, Cardano is rapidly evolving, right? We've seen a lot of the issues with the last few funds and the problems around the voting. And so we need a new way to vote and a new way to use tokens to coordinate together, right? So markets, we want to use market mechanisms because it's proven and it's scalable. And we can use modeling and simulation techniques to actually look into what our system is doing and how interactions between stakeholders might work. And also teach people how to use collaborative canvas tools that can lead to a shared understanding. So effectively, we want to teach people to design better social choice mechanisms and market mechanisms. And eventually that's going to lead to better apps, DAOs, and happier people. So, yeah, thank you.
Fabulous, thanks.
Nice one.
If you can unshare your screen, then I'll be able to, and if you put your hand down, I think it's Tivo next. Yeah, it is. All right, go for it, Tivo.
Yeah, I'm going with the proposal advancing community governance tooling on Andamio. And in there, we are leveraging Bimbo Labs and Andamio platform, where they have like a project-based learning method of onboarding and building background knowledge and specializing and then contributing. And we focus on governance because like educating on governance is pretty hard topic. And we have like different mechanics like sociocratic, holocratic, metacratic, all these different nuances, and having a baseline of information of all these different options we have, I think that's a good starting point for people to kind of get to know what is possible in this space. And when you combine it with like a technical solution, which is not just Google Docs and sharing people and facilitating, but also providing it on a platform that has like a clear like learning targets, and at the end you also get credentials on chain using the Cardano protocol. I think that's a nice mix of stuff.
Next up we have Jeremy, and then I'm going to wrap it up at the end. So Jeremy, over to you. I see in the chat he needs to exit and come back, so well, I can fill in the gap. And
yeah, and I've joined late too, and I don't mind speaking to ours real
oh,
quickly.
hi Alex, I didn't see you were there. All right.
Hi Vanessa. Yeah, sorry, no, I was a little late here. My colleague couldn't make it with me, but yeah, happy to just speak really quickly about our primary proposal, or one of our primary proposals, which is trying to empower the Cardano community with misconception research and kind of more importantly, how to educate people using research tested methods. So one of the barriers to entry to any topic, whether that's climate change or cryptocurrency or anything that has kind of various opinions about, is that people come to these topics already with preconceptions. And so you can bury them in content and information, and they're not necessarily going to change their mind about a subject if they've already come into it with a certain idea. And so you need to use a specific set of techniques that have been developed called conceptual change techniques in order to have the best statistical chance of changing people's minds when you have their attention for just a limited amount of time. And so one of the key things of doing that, though, is understanding, well, what are the misconceptions that people have? And so as far as we know, no one has ever done a true methodical survey of what are the misconceptions that actually exist for people as in terms of Cardano and adoption, and how much of that is just cryptocurrency literacy, so to speak, generally that people lack or don't lack, or is it bias that they're coming from other ecosystems, and that there's a certain kind of information fog around Cardano because of various bad press and other things that Cardano sometimes gets. So our proposal is to survey that, identify what misconceptions are actually out there, and then apply a conceptual change study to see how and what approaches will work best to change people's minds. And without getting into the technical of it, we'd be looking at reputational texts and applying that. So you can look that up and you can review our proposal. It's called Empowering Cardano Through Misconception Research for more details about what we plan to do. And we have two other proposals as well that I won't get into here.
I'm going to have to stop you there because that's way over a minute now already. So thank you so much. That sounds really interesting. I'm going to go to Jeremy next, and then Kuba team. Welcome. I'm glad you made it. I'll go to you after Jeremy. All right, over to you, Jeremy.
All right, thanks. I'm helping Vanessa with a project called Measuring Community Decentralization. And I think the 1 minute pitch is probably how she pitched it to me originally, which is that you find yourself in an environment where you're collaborating or you're working on an effort or you're part of a group or a community that is working in governance, in towards some goal, and you have a feeling or a suspicion that you may be centralizing your efforts. And it would be nice to have some kind of objective measure to check those feelings against and to check the work of the community against to help you navigate that space. So the governance principle in play, I would think, is something along the lines of how to keep good governance decentralized.
Brilliant, nicely succinct and wonderful. Thank you very much. If you can put your hand down, then I'm going over to Kuba team next.
Hey, everybody. Our proposal is about Cardano autonomous testing. Cardano is a decentralized distributed system or network. Testing just a single node is not sufficient when you are dealing with the distributed systems. So here we intend to build a distributed testing system using autonomous agents so that we can test any distributed dApp. And governance is one of them. Even the Catalyst voting could be tested using that. So the test bed for any distributed dApp testing in Cardano, that's our intent to go with the use case for 1694 governance testing. That's the proposal.
Wow, 40 seconds. That's our shortest yet. That sounds really interesting, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of conversation around that in a minute. I'm just going to wrap it up with an introduction to CGO, otherwise known as Community Governance Oversight. Yes, we aim to maintain oversight of governance in Catalyst, but our main focus in this particular iteration is change management, particularly how we manage changes to Catalyst parameters. CGO's been going for a few funds now, and we've come to the stage where we what we call Catalyst governance parameter changes is anything that substantively changes how Catalyst is run. So it's a bit broader than what IOG might identify as a fund parameter. These are governance parameters. We notice that IOG are still leading on changes. So if we're going to move towards the community running Catalyst, we need to identify a way to manage changes that engages the whole community. So we'll be looking at who a change affects, who was consulted, who has contributed to it, whether the thinking behind it has been shared and socialized, and all those kinds of things. We will hope to be working alongside another proposal that's building a dashboard to collect information on this. But even if that doesn't get funded, we're still going to do that research in the community and come up with some recommendations for a change management process that really includes the community itself. Some people will say, oh, but IOG are already doing that with, Catalyst Voices and stuff like that. But we kind of think that it might be good to have a community-led version as well to kind of dovetail with it. So that's about it.
Title is Custom Proof of Attendance Systems Creator for Zoom. So this is an extension of an app that is essentially in working prototype mode, not ready for big boy prime time. That was funded in Fund 8. And the core functionality of this app is essentially a self-service Web3 utility tool, whereby it doesn't help you make NFTs. It simply helps you associate on-page functionality with any NFT in the series. And it works off of a twist of OAuth, like login with Google, login with Facebook, whereby instead of going to, let's say, Vault3.io, which is a really slick app that helps you token gate file downloads, it lets the functionality work on any website, whereby people are taken off-site to the authorization modal and then taken back where the payload actually occurs. And this proposal is essentially a way for people to token gate Zoom meetings. And by looking at this very comprehensive API that Zoom has. You can do things like require an NFT before being automatically RSVP'd to a private event. And in that event, governance could be occurring, right? And you can also run a server that pings your Zoom events to detect not only that somebody actually went, but precisely how long they stayed. And pretty much everything that happened that happened during the event. So it's a way for people to set up their own access and reward systems, whereby you could gamify different meetings, whereby you have to have a certain prestige level or point system or whatever else you need to make it work, really. But it's essentially a bridge between these Web3 NFT ownership conditions you can set and any other Web2 technology. And in this case, it's Zoom.
Wow, that's really interesting. Thanks for that. All right, so we've heard, the sort of mini pitches, and we've had a bit of a chat about different things. And I'm wondering if people are starting to see a shape here. Are you starting to see key governance issues that are being addressed? There's a link to a Miro board, which I think, Tivo, you can repost. Yeah, there it is. So if people are able to, can we hop into there and just have a look, like, a little bit further down, where we've got point number 3, what themes can we identify? I'll just like share screen to show you the bit I mean. There we go. So yeah, I'm talking about underneath where we've all given a little bit of information about our proposals. If you come down here, there's a section where we can say what themes can we identify. So from what you've heard just now, or any other governance proposals that you're aware of, people maybe who are not here, what are the themes that are coming out around governance? And we'll give you like 5 minutes and then we'll come back and have a chat about it. All right, nice one.